Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Block 11 of the virtual Pet Jam Livestream. I am your jam host, Shibanya, and I'm joined this evening by some excellent guests. Why don't y'all introduce yourselves going down the line, starting alphabetically?
I'm a completely non-famous goon approaching infinity, also known as Giovanni or just Gio. I'm a gameplay engineer at Zynga, so I've got some good bit of pro experience, and I have some previous jam experience as well.
And I am Mihai Zeta, also known as Michael Azekis, voice actor and streamer. I do a lot of work with the AFMouth channel. Am kind of a pseudo-goon who has fallen into being a full goon, so I guess there are stairs in my house as well. And there's something else that I wanted to say to that. Oh, yes, something mobile games, if probably dating me as your boyfriend or something like that. Hello, everyone.
There you go. And I do want to comment that we've kind of partially reassembled the dream team here because approaching Infinity, Mihai and I have jammed together on two games, Delinda Airlines and Simshine, which are both excellent. Y'all should check them out. They're awesome games.
Yes.
They're both award-winning, I should add. So,
and it's been a hot minute since we had done those, so this is a classic dream team right here.
But definitely not washed up or anything. We'll start saying that.
No, I gotta say, I was much less experienced as a coder when I worked with Giovanni. I learned a lot from him, so I'm grateful for that. And now we're all professional. He was already a professional game dev. I wasn't yet at that time. Now I am. I'm a pro, so thank you. Anyway.
And now, do you hate it more or less than when you were?
I mean, it's been going quite well for me because I'm in a nice niche. Because I'm a professional graphics programmer, which is one of those magical jobs where you basically like roll up to the game dev company or like, I work here now. And they're like, yeah,
one of like 3 people who are willing to handwrite shaders for the universal render pipeline.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So I guess for anybody new to the community, my biggest claim to fame is I was the graphics programmer for Darkest Dungeon 2, which y'all should check out because it has beautiful shaders. Also because the gameplay is good, but mostly because of the shaders. Anyway, introductions out of the way. Let us proceed to the first game of Block 11, which is Wacky Beetles. And I believe... is this your block, Mihai?
This is Approaching Infinities.
No, it's not, actually. This was the block of a judge who had to bow out. So this is actually nobody's block. Actually, I guess it's my block now.
Ooh. It's blind. We're all going in blind.
You're all going in blind.
This is going to be interesting to see. Let's see what we got.
All right, let's bring this up on screen.
I feel like it's exciting. The fact that since this was the first time for all of us... Ooh, is this a what.exe happening right now?
Mihai, you kind of got quiet for a moment there. I forgot. I didn't hear what you said.
Can you still hear me now? Hopefully...
Yes,
there we go. Yeah, I'm wondering with this looking like a visual novel right off the bat, if it might happen to be a what.exe, as we've been just hoping for one of those this jam.
Well, let's see. They were very naughty. They launched in full screen.
Scandalous.
Hey, you look lonely, so I decided to give you a friend, Smiley. Be back to check on you guys in 2.5 minutes, neighbor.
Oddly specific.
Pet name.
I'm getting
some Butts' final form.
I was gonna say I was looking at it and thinking that suddenly this was a persona monster from what I thought the shape was.
Yeah, I think I'd have been screaming already. Like it present opens up and it pops out and has insect legs and apparently glowy eyes.
That's when I need to find new neighbors. Racing game. Spam space to speed up.
There's just a racing arena in the back of your apartment.
Why are there other butts in my back? I have a repetitive stress injury, so I'm not going to be spamming space that hard. I'm not going to restart race, thank you.
You did get last place, though.
What is it?
Oh, that's how you get the pity prize.
Bicep. Pet. Feed. You know, this is pulling that old horror game trick where you like look away and then when you look back, it's changed. Oh, I see.
What are we feeding him?
We're cleaning.
Pellets. Oh.
Oh, I see.
I suppose they're just rolling off screen. Never to be seen again.
Maybe our pet
Maybe he
is
was
happy?
already fully clean?
No,
Actually,
I'm
he's
trying to
fully
see if
clean.
I can accumulate them, but it appears not.
Oh,
Sadly.
they're disappearing.
You know,
Or
I
are they
just
just
had
rolling out of the...
Yeah, they're just rolling off screen. I was gonna see if we could like fill the hole. Butts is kind of like immobile.
The most well-behaved pet getting a bath ever.
Oh,
they're
we
just
have no
fine.
The
more
front of your
front
apartment
door.
has now converted into... That's a good effect.
This is
Also,
like
I will
a
say,
modern art museum installation. I feel like I've seen something like this in like the Guggenheim in Bilbao or something. What were you saying?
I appreciate that now we have a little bit of sound design. I was kind of worrying because there seemed to be not much responsiveness to the other ones. That now we finally at least have, okay, Butts is eating or not eating. Because it
These
looks like
appear-
you're having to move the food.
Whoa! What the fuck?
Hello?
Not that I'm that attached to butts, but fuck you. Oh, it shot the no. Christ, what an asshole.
The what?
A bird ate butts. That's a big bird.
Yeah.
Butts is returned to me.
Butts too?
Yeah, this is just also butts.
Yeah.
Butts
I
never
should have named
left.
them also butts. Yeah.
So we have
Now the
another
music
2
is,
minutes and
ominous.
20 seconds
What
to
the fuck
raise
just happened?
Butts.
The music stayed like all ominous.
Butts has a glowing eye.
And a baseball cap.
There's a Fresnel rim on this ball, but I shall forgive it this time. Butts is cute. Oh, your pet is too dirty for that. It's a beetle, bro. Did you you know what they're doing?
I guess it's not
No,
a dung
there's-
beetle.
There's Times New Roman. I guess I won't get too mad about default font for some things.
I mean, maybe they're going for kind of a 90s. Well,
No, this
I
is
wonder if you could capture the 90s feeling a little bit better rather than just including serif font.
yeah.
'cause it
No,
doesn't
this
feel
no
very
way invokes.
harmonious.
It's Times New Romans, but it's not 90s Times New Roman. There's some nuance there. Some art
Fair
to the vaporwave. I like how the bug has a baseball cap, which indicates whimsy. I don't know how to increase the strength. I guess I have to win the stupid race, which is not happening because I'm physically not capable of doing that. I can try, but
Ooh, almost. Perspective is making it really hard to tell.
I didn't get
Yeah.
first. No,
Second,
I don't think it increased my stats at all. Oh no, it just made him hungrier.
Yeah, it just spent a bunch of stuff.
weird. So do you only increase strength by winning the race then?
I suppose.
Hmm.
Oh, strength did go up, it appears. I guess we can try. You know, this is as best I can do without actually literally hurting myself. So, hey, bitch. Rude. Oh, the nose already.
Pre-disabled.
That's just fucking rude.
Hmm.
No, stop it. Stop dropping beetles off at my house.
Infinite
weird.
buses.
I'm gonna call the cops. That's what I'm gonna do. Well, that was interesting. I think it lived up to its name, Wacky Beetles. The next game on the agenda is Stronghold City Builder. Let me pull that up here.
It was a little unclear if you could avoid having butts taken away by the
Yeah.
birds, or like if you could, like how you might do that.
Yeah, it seemed
Then you're
pretty
just
on
a bitch with
rails.
no ass. You ain't got shit. Anyway, that was an obscure reference for this crowd. Where Stronghold City Builder. Hold on, let me bring this up.
If the pet model is HD, then that makes it well-defined butts. Dieting hippo.
Hmm.
High def butts.
That's the kind of butts we need.
Well-defined butts.
We don't want no obscure butts. Only supple
Granular
butts here.
sound options, and it's the very first thing you see.
All right. Here we go. Much appreciated. Yeah, that's right. This is a Christian stream. Only Christian butts. Well, I suppose we can...
All butts
Christian
are
side
valid.
butts.
You know what? I think we should accept Muslim butts because they do believe in Jesus butts.
I don't know. I feel like Buddhist butts have a nice alliteration to it as well.
Okay, fine.
Just
we can
put it out
take the Jewish butts and the Buddhist butts and the Hindu butts, but I draw the line at the Scientology butts.
Oh well, yes. Anyway, they're just straight up butts. That's kind of
Mm-hmm.
they're like inward out butts or something.
All right. Mm-hmm. It's a wyvern. Wyvern? Wyvern. Why are you wearing a garter, baby? You're too young to strip. Anyway.
Maybe it's Ulster.
Is this Lord Anarchy or is the Lord Anarchy somebody else? The city's... Did you have to use the default font? Did you? It's going to be my new pet peeve in addition to full screen. Oh, it looks like a...
he's
You're
trying
right.
to
I think
change
it does look like
fonts.
a prosthetic leg. Excellent.
Oh.
I'm clicking that. There are chupacabras living in your city.
It's more likely than you think.
The next
Set you
chupacabra
back
will set you back $1.
I'm curious why Lord Anarchy cares about losing $1.
Well, I mean, anarchy is expensive.
But why are they here? I haven't seen a single goat. So what are they even sucking? Looks like you just unlocked missions.
Looks like we have some layer issues right there.
I'm a little confused about why anything is happening. But you know what nice touch is? They have a custom pointer
A cursor, yeah.
cursor, yeah. It's a little hard to tell where the click... I believe the click happens at the wrist, though, and not the...
Yeah, like
index.
it's on the left still. Like
I believe you can set where the actual like hotspot is, though. Would be
Yeah.
good for them to revisit that. Oops, I didn't mean to load. Whoa, hi. Oh, mission. What? Sure, I'll take it, but I don't really know why that happened. Missions are good, but we can't live off missions alone. Let's get a scavenging. I would recommend, the funny thing is if you reduce the size of the text, that will actually make it easier to read because there will be more of a gap between the text to the borders.
It's kind of a text wall right now.
So that'd be a really
Also,
easy
somehow
way
the bottom
to...
line is like offset.
Yeah, to just like
I
increase
guess
the
Lord
readability of your
Anarchy
text.
is leaking into the message box.
Yeah. Scavenging party together to look for valuables in the Dragon City. Head over to the exit room of the cave. Okay. Okay. Hi. Scavenging. Send up to 5 chupacabras into Solis to act food and valuables. The more chupacabras and the higher level they are, the better the loot. Assign your party by typing the number of F, the chupacabras you want to use. Only chupacabras that are not too busy or too young will be shown. Enter start to finish setting the party. Party will automatically be set when there are no more chupacabras to select. Huh?
It looks like we might not have any eligible chupacabras. Unless there's a layering thing.
Okay. This is a little odd in that I don't believe this is an issue of the resolution of my monitor because this is windowed, so this is in the native res of the application. But there's some UI layering issues here, placement issues that I think are kind of critical. I suggest the devs address those.
Yeah, well, it's very hard to tell too. What's going on in general. Like, why is there one on the left there? Is one of them resting? How did they get
Also,
3 experience?
they
Why are
have
we
this.
player level 2?
Yeah, they have this tooltip, but the mouse over zone that causes it to come up is a bit narrow. So like even as they walk, you see how it's like flickering because the pointer is
Yeah.
exiting the mouse over zone.
Yeah, that's kind of tough because focusing on it to be able to read any of the details, it looks like you have to follow the cursor around on the monster.
It's I'm confused. Let me see.
Okay, so I guess you have one in your scavenging party already, but how do we actually do the thing?
But I'm really enjoying the artwork of this, so it's a shame that I don't really know how to engage with it. I'm clicking these buttons, but it's unclear to me if they're actually registering anything.
I'm getting the feeling it seems like there are a lot of features that they had intended to add, but like that with breeding the chupacabras, it's just not available. They might have been a bit overscoped.
Yeah, that's too bad, because it's definitely got a very interesting premise. So I think I'm going to close this for now, but I'd love to see more of this if the developer could kind of fix those UI issues. I think there's something really interesting there. The next game we've got is My Virtual Pet by Arcade Game Studio. Let me bring that up here. Any commentary from y'all while I look for this?
Yeah, I'm just kind of taking that one in going, I think the UI cleanup would be a tremendous benefit because of how hard it was to just see what was going on and seem like you're kind of around just...
It's another one that could do with guided, at least a very short guided tutorial. Same deal.
Yeah.
It's like, here's do this first, then do this thing, and then that kind of just to get you started on the loop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, even just that little bit of context at the beginning gives you enough that you can kind of guess the rest, even if it's not all overly explained to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is yet another mobile styled game.
Yeah.
This art looks really pretty. Welcome, baby. Toto was born.
Oh,
That's cute.
cute little frog thing.
He's got a neck tutu.
Yeah. Custom buttons, custom fonts.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Welcome,
Yeah,
new
very
breeder.
smooth.
The parents need your help to raise their child. Let's start with feeding. Okay. Tap to meal. Do love to meal. Tap to feed. Fat. Okay. Boop, boop, boop. Toto gave you a photo as a present. Okay. Interesting.
That's cute.
I'm
How
expecting.
did he get in that room?
Looks like
Very
they were
carefully.
hoping to have like a Twitter or Instagram thing pop up, but that's not happening. Ta-da! Whoop. Carbohydrate.
Sounds like you're kind of figuring out how to feed the little one a balanced breakfast so its stats grow evenly like that.
Mogdex. Photo. Okay. Breeder information. Player 1. Modegree chart. Oh yeah, they mentioned breeding, so... Play with... No, looks like they've got some ambitions that they haven't quite fulfilled yet. Let us have carb. Carbohydrate. I like how straightforward it is about like what they are. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
And also that it gives you a clear idea as to what to expect from the stat growth.
Yeah, the feedback of like the bars going up with the little red bit on the underside is kind of good for like, oh, okay, I see that this one gave him this much of this and this much of this. Though it is hard
Oh,
to
I
tell when all
see.
3 bars say F on them on the left.
Vitamin. The bouncing of the sprite is really nice.
Yeah, the
Toto
art
gave
and
me
the
photos.
overall like the polish of the feedback and all the interactions is really nice.
That's so funny.
Almost in a vague way, I'm getting a bit of a Kerm Frog vibe from this.
Really?
Just something of first day at school, where you're kind of going through this whole child growth thing, where I'm just feeling like the each kid ABC.
Might be fun to have a stream sometime with like greatest hits of prior jams, because there are a lot of games we keep mentioning that some folks new to these jams may not have seen before.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Mineral.
Are we feeding them clams?
Maybe they're oysters. I think they're oysters.
Yeah.
Lucky, full of nutrition. Oh, it got big.
Oh, the ranks. Okay. Because one of them went from F to E.
Huh. Well, something happened.
I think the other Moog might have been flirting with it.
Yeah, doing the flirting and then what are you looking at, Baka? And then it.
It's not like I like you or anything.
Yeah.
Wiggle your hips. The Moog wiggles back. What a meaningful interaction.
Oh, I see. So that's how we're leveling up. I wonder what these stars are. They appear to be decrementing or something. Maybe it's how much time we have left with this
Yeah,
creature.
you had more of those earlier.
It's interesting how all these things are just based on what you feed it.
Which I will say is nice just for easy to grab play, especially since it looks like this is oriented for a mobile game.
It is getting bigger too.
Mm-hmm. What's funny though is we have this like forest setting that we're in, and yet all the photos we're getting are of it in sort of like
in a
suburban...
house. And when do you have time to do these things, Toto?
I mean, I get the impression that well, they can correct me if they're wrong. I think the UI elements come from an asset pack, because I do have an asset pack that looks very much like this. But they can, no offense if I'm wrong, like, you can correct me. But so I'm wondering, like, if it's sort of like cleverly combining a bunch of different things they had, which is a great strategy for a jam. And is I wouldn't call that cheating at all, because the big hard part is like making it work.
Yeah, exactly. It is just a good resourceful use of an asset pack.
But yeah, it is kind of funny, that like weird mix of totally different like worlds.
Because stylistically, it looks solid.
Yeah, it seems all consistent. So like, however they came by the assets, whether they're homemade or they're from a pack, they're well executed.
Toto,
And I'm liking the font too. Looks like there were lots of love letters sent to Toto. Oh my!
You must now arrange Toto's marriage.
Oh, this looks like a high-ranked person.
the one on the right looks like an Animal Crossing character, like one of the elephants.
Tap to marry. Interesting. Your Mog will be married. Will you marry? Okay. This is funny. Woo!
Happy wedding.
Instant.
They got busy real quick. It stopped.
Is it waiting for you to click one more time?
I am clicking it one more time.
Oh, and it's...
Yes.
Oh, no.
Did it freeze? Did it lock?
Uh-oh.
I won! Oh, that's a bit anticlimactic. Yeah, it just froze.
Oh.
That's sad.
Still,
We're so... I was so looking forward to seeing what the offspring was going to look like.
Was it going to be a random choice from the list, or are they actually try to combine features? Or
That's too bad. Yeah, I'm hitting like enter and escape, and it's not. Oh, that's a bummer. I was actually really invested in figuring out like what that was going to be. That had a really cute aesthetic. I really liked how they executed the sort of like paper cutout-esque look of all those creatures.
Yeah, everyone looks like construction paper kind of.
Yeah, and for whatever my...
It's got a really good or like nice art style overall. Like and like we were mentioning, if they used the UI was from an asset pack, it was like a pretty well-fitting one.
Yeah, everything seemed very unified.
It was made just for this game.
And I think regardless, like I could tell they had a lot of bespoke art.
Yeah.
Like little creatures for sure.
Or did one hell of a job combining asset packs.
Yeah.
if that's what they did.
And that can take quite a long time. So
yeah.
All right, the next game on the agenda is Petsky by Team Chai and Company. So let's bring that up here. I like the name, Petsky.
Now, is it a pet that skis, or is it?
No, I mean as in ASCII. It's going to kick some ASCII with my Petsky.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Now that I'm seeing the screen, it makes more sense.
I forgot the pun and thought it was just kind of a Polish or Russian naming gag.
Yeah.
It is Petov Petsky.
There's a letter inside. Thank you for choosing Woo Enterprises. We hope you enjoy this egg of questionable origin. Our product is guaranteed to synergize with your home decor or your money back. Home decor not included, money back not guaranteed. We have included how am I supposed to interpret the sort of like arms up? Woohoo! Enterprises PDA. That will, man, I haven't thought about one of those in a long time. That will assist you in taking care of your egg. I guess that makes sense with the aesthetic, though. Oh, look, it's text you can, it's actual, like...
Yeah, it's text you can select.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I guess this is like a browser, like running in the browser with that, like not just like a game engine.
I'm not sure how it's made, because it's a WebGL build. Follow us on social media, FTW. Is that a real thing?
I'm going to check it out right now.
Check it out, yeah. It's all HTML5, says Chucky Chai. Are you the developer?
Let's see. Enterprises. Nope. Sadly, they are not an IRL Twitter account. Yet.
Gotta get on that soon.
I actually had a PDA back in the day. I asked my parents for one. I wanted one.
Just hopefully it doesn't show up with a hexagon profile picture with whoever claims it.
Lord of mercy. First thing we ask our QA testers to do is to poke our new products to gauge its reaction. In most cases, this results in immediate death from acute toxicity, spontaneous combustion, or violent molecular disassembly, though we are 98.3% confident that you will suffer no consequences from poking the egg of questionable origin. We recommend that you immediately poke the egg to see what happens. I used to be a professional QA, and that seems about as much regard as I ever got. You poke the egg and nothing happens. You poke. We don't even have a test plan. So what is our expected result versus actual result, Okay. For a follow-up experiment, we need you to carefully reorient the egg perpendicular to its current rotation using the PDA's integrated cameras. That's a fancy-ass PDA. Because I remember when I had a PDA back in like the early aughts, I was a bit disappointed to find that it actually really can't do very much. Because everything it does, you have to like sync it to a computer, put crap on it, and then like you take that crap with you. But anyway, it's basically a tablet.
Like single, changeable, but single purpose at a time, like one purpose at a time.
Using this PDA's integrated cameras, we will calculate its center of mass and estimate its weight distribution using our advanced proprietary imaging AI. Yes, okay. Boink.
I like the idea that we have AI and imaging and all that stuff, but as for pocket devices, we never advanced beyond PDAs in this universe.
Perhaps we'd be better off in a world without the smartphone.
Yeah, that's true.
So we're using the IPDA 27 at this point.
Yeah.
Look at that thing. It's a beauty. The mass spectrometry data seems to have confirmed our suspicions. This egg is organic in origin. In fact, according to our top biologists, it seems to be significantly advanced in its incubation period. Research and development team Pi Epsilon Tau has unanimously deemed it an acceptable risk to hatch the egg to further our market research.
This thing had a mass spectrometer built into it and connected you to top biologists instantly. For a PDA, it's pretty advanced.
I'm like looking at that, trying to figure out if there's like a Joker pun, and that it's okay. So it's pi, and then it's like basically what we usually use to represent the smallest possible float before 0, and then tau, which is double pi.
I think PET, pet.
Oh, pff, I'm so stupid. You're right.
Well, I mean,
I was thinking too much about it. Motherfuck. I'm not smart. I can't.
I was just reading out first letters P-E-T. Ah, pet.
Map. Oh, I clicked a thing. I don't know what happened though. Where would I be without y'all? I'd be fucked.
I like the little smoke animation coming out of the house. All in ASCII.
Find a source of heat in this material for the egg. Oh, heat. Oh. Well, it makes sense that the hyperlinks are the hash symbols, so you know.
Probably kitchen. There's a stove.
Wait, what is that? Woo!
We unplugged it, whatever it was.
It's mine now. Hey, look, that's the cute touch.
Yeah.
I think I have things. It must have been a radiator. Excellent. The egg should hatch in no time. For now, please wait for the egg to finish incubation and hatch. Okay. The egg is about to hatch.
Ooh. Excitement.
Look, you got the little cracks. It's a bunny or something of that nature.
With asterisks for eyes.
What a peculiar little anomaly. We have contacted our R&D team, Pi Epsilon Tau, to immediately brainstorm profitable military applications. We are shipping a 471 and 1 chemical test kit within the next hour. In the meantime, please keep an eye on the creature. Sentient anomalies are inherently unpredictable. You know, this is more like documentation I ever got than when I was a professional QA.
They're writing it live too. Like as soon as things happen, they're like, "All right, here's all the info."
What, developers giving a shit about what I do? Amazing.
Yeah. Speaking of which, where is the pet? Should it have not been in the egg?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
You were supposed to monitor it for anomalies. It has already chewed the wire to your PlayStation.
Oh, and that was a PS5 too.
We have advanced by 1 minute. I wonder if that's just... Oh, it's just actual time.
Oh, yeah, system time?
Yeah.
You've done it all European-like. It vanished into thin air? No, wait, it is more likely that it left its shell in search of food. Try prepping some food from your kitchen to lure it out. Cookbook! So interesting. The depth continues. Summary.
I'll say
I measure all my ingredients in decagrams.
I'm trying to type, but it won't let me type just anything. I guess it will only accept numbers. Let's try blueberry milk. Decagrams.
Yeah, seriously, of all the metric measurements, decagrams.
Add in roughly half the weight of the milk. Oh, do I have to think about math? Look, guys, I am a graphics programmer. I only do math with 1 and numbers less than 1. All right? That's all I can do. That's all I know. Anyway, add in roughly half the weight of the milk and blueberries.
So it should be 10 decagrams of blueberries.
Ridiculous. You know I can't count.
Isn't decagrams the one that's after grams, like higher? So 10 decagrams of blueberries would be 100 grams of blueberries.
Yeah.
20 decagrams of milk seems like not very much.
I was going to say 200... Now I'm trying to do metric conversions in my head because I was thinking of 200 milliliters.
Yeah, I think normally you wouldn't measure your milk in grams anyway, but
Yeah.
I
I
guess
mean,
it's by
fortunately,
weight.
it's changeable.
You didn't make
Thinking
anything
was
edible. Well, fine.
200 milligrams.
Cook it until the pot is hot, it said?
Yeah, I did,
Mix it
but
for a bit? Oh, did you... Maybe you needed to mix it once it was hot.
I
Is
did
that-
mix it. I guess I figured it's mixed quite a bit, so I think it's fine. But I guess I didn't let it mix long enough. Oh, Mover mixed it, did I? Caramelized apple. Okay. We're talking about decagrams of an actual fruit. Look, I'm a professional programmer. You know I can't do math.
That's why we get the computer to do it for us.
Exactly.
You'll never have a calculator in your pocket at all times.
Yeah.
Sear. I don't know what the fuck that means. I don't cook. Phew. I wonder if there's anything else I can do. Ce n'est pas un bonbon. I don't.
This is not a bonbon.
Yes. Bitch, I might be.
A little René Magritte. Very nice touch.
Closet. Is that an outlet? Woo! Like the rug. Living room? Yeah, okay. Bedroom? Oh, it's a pill. It's one of those fancy round pills that you see at IKEA.
Yeah.
Bedroom and
I feel like
closet
those
seem to have.
would like make your neck crane forward too far.
You know, this reminds me of is like the closet that's near the door that's not attached to the bedroom is I had some apartments in Madrid and some friends of mine who had apartments in Madrid where like there would be 3 bedrooms in the apartment and none of the bedrooms had a closet, but there was like a large room that was just a closet. And it's like you don't. I'd never seen that before I went to Europe, but this
So
maybe is a
just
European
giant
type.
collective walk-in?
Yeah, a big collective, a big walk-in closet for everybody to hang their clothes and shoes and things.
Everyone in the apartment can say that they have a walk-in closet.
Exactly.
That's good for a house of voice actors.
Right.
All of them going, ooh, walk-in closet, mine.
This is cute, but I want to move on because we got a lot of games to get through. But I love the originality of this concept and the aesthetic. It's rad.
Yeah, it does look really good.
The next game we have is Hydra Escape, in all caps, I must denote. Hydra Escape Pet Edition by Team Wacky and Tech.
I'll say, I think that game, just a little bit of sound would have helped it along. Thinking of the old beeps and bloops of ASCII games like Sleuth years ago.
Oops. Oh, that sounds ominous. Oh, that was not right. Hang on. I'm struggling with OBS here. Come on.
Oh, look at that cute pet. So cute.
Hydrosket, my
Playing
pet
with his
edition.
Little
Okay.
hell dog beast dragon thing.
Hydroscape, press start. Play. Credit, settings. I always like to see what the credits are. Settings are. I always turn that down because I'm streaming. Music. American. Quality.
Sound option, always a plus.
I've used that icon before. Free game icons. I love them. I rely on them. I would be nothing without them. All right. Going on an adventure. Ooh. Hydra Wolf. Pet? Hi. Oh, it's Hydra Wolf because it's got. Cause it looks like a Cerberus, but it's not a Cerberus. It's a Hydra Wolf. Poke. Watch.
Legally distinct service.
Speak. Speak, friend, and enter. Snapshot. Hi. Happiness? Oh, not have happiness. How do we make more happiness? Candy? No.
It looks like are those zeros underneath. I think the you might not have any of that stuff.
Hang on. I think I can adjust the... Can I? No. It's very small on my screen. Hang on. But it is windowed, so let me see. It's still small on the 1080p monitor.
I was trying to see if you're able to...
Gosh? How do I make it happier? Beef? How do I beef candy?
My guess is you don't have any of those yet.
What is that button?
Yeah, maybe you have to go to the shop first. There's a button on the right side.
Going on an adventure!
How can I help you?
Got no beef with the Hydra Wolf, says Dieting Hippo. Let's see here. Mystic Shop. I assume this is the Mystic Shopkeeper. I guess these are toys for the creature?
Yeah, it's bones,
Hide-a-wee-dee.
beef, a dummy which I can hopefully ragdoll around. I think you had like 50 GP, was it, or 100?
Yeah, I've got 60 left, but let's see. Okay, it is now hungry. I wonder if that was not a free action. That beef did not sate it very much. Bone. Oh, look, it's a bone in each of its mouths.
Triple bones. You got a 3-pack.
No fighting over it.
Oh, so those are consumable. Well, you know, if you have siblings, what often happens, well, at least what happened when I was growing up, because I have a brother who's just 2 years younger than me, is that we'd want the same toy, and the toy would not be very expensive. And my mom, to make us just stop fighting, would just get 2 of the toy, and then under the foot of one would put his first initial, and under the foot of the other would put my first initial. That's how you do it. You just get bones with the first initial of all their little heads.
How often did you manage to fight over the toys anyway?
Actually, really over the
Like
ones
one
that had...
person loses one and...
I must say that didn't happen too often, although one of the more notable sibling scraps we had was there was a toy that I didn't care about, never played with, and did not like. And so my mom decided to give it to my brother, and then I wanted it. Because apparently I was a little shit.
Naturally.
Yeah. Wash? I don't want to bite.
And you're like, well, if he wants it, what does he know that I don't?
Yeah. Caregiver? Hi. Oh. Hydra name. Hydra Wolf. Cave name. Oh, cave? We have a cave? I didn't know we had a cave. Monk. Name. Class. Commit!
Perfect.
But how do I push? Anyway.
Programming jokes.
What? Me make programming jokes.
What is switching your class to? Is there supposed to be like some kind of thing you can, like some other gameplay thing that you can do that depends on this class?
I don't know. Let's find out. So we had been a monk, so let's see if anything's different now that we're a rogue. I don't know how to get more money, so we're gonna be in trouble soon without any money.
Looking to buy something?
I just heard that. Confused, but
I wonder what buying the gold and gemstones does.
well,
There seems to be a lot here, but it's like a little hard to tell like
yeah.
how you can
Yeah.
actually do stuff with them.
Yeah, there's like a hodgepodge of things, but they don't really seem to be very unified in like what the devs are attempting to like make this experience be.
Yeah. What the stuff on the bottom right? That's how you got to the stats menu, right? Where it says monk and I think quick.
Yeah, caregiver.
So what if you click on that treasure hunt thing?
Oh, yeah, that might do it. Controlling a little thingy. Oh, whoa. This thing, So when you press forward, the character moves forward from their point of view, not from my point of view.
Tank controls.
Oh, I recognize that. That's a free asset in the Unity Asset Store. No, if I say that, that's not me being like, oh, that's so lazy. Like, that's good on Jamscope. Just being like, oh, I recognize that. I have a shader tutorial that uses that asset. I'm not really
Can
sure.
you bust those? Maybe you can get those for money.
Let's see. I'm clicking. I'm pressing buttons. Can I attack? Oh, I hit something.
You just mash every key on your keyboard simultaneously.
Yeah. Well, we move like a beat up truck. Oh, they all lost their shine. I didn't get any more gold though. Oh, wait. Oh, here we go.
I think that was a different one.
Oh yeah.
Treasure chest.
Seems to be E is interact, which makes sense. Oh, we hit an invisible wall.
Yeah, it's definitely always, if you can, add button prompts.
Yeah.
Because that stuff is, sometimes it's not super, like, you know, some people will figure out, like, oh, E is a common interaction button, but it still feels weird to, like, flail around trying to figure out which key it is.
And to address what Ginger said, there's nothing wrong with using pre-made assets, especially for a jam game. What really counts is, like, making something fun. I think the only place where it matters is, like, don't lie and say you made it if you didn't, but...
Ironically, it's, if anything, it matches up more with the experience of working on a dev team. You're often going to be only doing one portion of the game, and so, like, if you're an engineer, you're probably not going to be making the assets anyway.
Yeah.
You're doing something like this where you're assembling assets someone else made.
I work on a lot of my own projects, but I also freelance. And so it's great when I'm freelancing with a team with a lot of talented artists, because it's like, oh, I get to, like, write awesome shaders for awesome assets instead of what is typical where I write shaders for really shitty models that I made myself.
It is awesome. Like, you get like a new model from the art team, and it's like, oh, nice, I get to play with this now, and I didn't even have to make it.
Yeah, it is fun. So I suppose like maybe the yeah.
Can't
Anyway.
forget
that. So we have more money now, so I suppose we can buy more thingies for the pet.
Let's trade.
There's a little void. Let's trade. Oh, I apparently do have. I have some things I can sell for currency.
Needs the Resident Evil 4 salesman guy. What are you buying?
Bouncy orb. Gotta have orb. Just orb.
Maybe that's like a ball or something. Now, when you went on the treasure hunt, Butts didn't go with you.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Because I
be
feel like
cool.
a Hydra dog would be... a Hydra wolf, sorry, would be very handy on a treasure hunt. Oh, those don't... Oh, Candy? What does Candy do? Candy didn't do anything. Hello, baby. That's some bones. Just chilling with the bones. Bones. And I don't...
What does the dummy do?
It would have been fun if it was a ragdolling thing, but
Yeah, he just like swings around.
at least finally, I don't know what Speak
Currently
does
just
yet.
mesmerizing Butts very hard.
What does poke do? Oh, it doesn't like to be poked. No poke. Yes, pet. Although pet doesn't seem to be making it that much happier. Oh, I guess it does. There we go. Did a little bit. Can I spam this? Apparently not. I haven't figured out what Speak does. And bouncy orb. That's funny. Boing, boing, boing. Unfortunately, I can't interact with these little things. That would have been fun.
It's the GQ audience going, oh.
I think that's actually originally an essay thing.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole emoticon, just orb, and I know a few years back there were a lot of like orb jokes. Just
Everything leads back to something else.
It's true. It's true.
The stairs are in everyone's house.
Oh, not everyone is protected. Warrior. Sure.
But
let's
at least you know what you can greet as an old friend.
No ring. All right. Let's see if we got any difference in our quest with the warrior. Although I didn't encounter any mobs when I was out here with the rogue.
Yeah, maybe some of them that just didn't get implemented in time.
That would make sense. Yeah, that'd be quite a bit of trouble for Jamscope. I wish, though, well, I mean, it's a valid choice, but I wish that they moved relative to my view and not theirs. It's the I hate take controls.
So we just need the fixed camera angles now. Where you
I gotta
like,
say, I
walk
mean,
to the left a little bit and the camera completely turns like 120 degrees or something.
yeah, at least the camera is not getting in the way. One thing, you know, I end up taking for granted in a lot of modern games is like the camera controls. Then you pull up like a vintage, you know, PS1 era Nintendo 64 or something, and the camera is like as much an enemy as the actual enemies are, and you're like, ah, right.
Yeah,
Right.
nobody had figured anything out yet. That persisted sometimes even into like the PS2 era.
Yeah.
Like for some reason, Capcom, like that you know, they had the tank controls and then Resident Evil fixed cameras. But I remember watching a friend play. It was like Devil May Cry 2 or something. One of the games where like it was the same deal where there were some parts where you'd be platforming and then in the middle of a jump the camera would switch to a completely different angle and you would miss the jump because suddenly your controls were making you go the wrong way. And it's just one of those things that nowadays seems super obvious, but I guess it just wasn't.
Yeah.
But we're still kind of messing around back then.
So I've probably, I reckon, unless something surprising happens, I've probably seen just about everything this game has to show. So maybe we'll have one more go with a bouncy ball, and then we'll shut this one down so we can get to some of the other games on the list. That's cute.
We leave with the orb.
Well, this is not a bad amount of content for Jamscope, because I mean it pretty much it looks like they combined a bunch of stuff that they had into like a virtual pet game, but it works like I haven't encountered any bugs, so it's a fun little thing.
It's like, seems like all pretty solid.
Yeah,
solidly put together.
Yeah, so that's cool, and I had fun playing with my Hydra Wolf. All right, so next we have Pixie M Game Jam version by BDO Game. This is another Godot. Let's see. Let me bring this up. Scale that for the stream.
New game. Very minimalist. Oh, very minimalist looking game.
Okay, we have
You
berries.
appear to have a ton of stacks of berries.
Oh yeah, you know the last game though, where was the zone? With the Hydra.
Yeah, there was the treasure hunt zone.
That is true.
Although I don't know if it wasn't particularly called out that way, but
yeah. We've had some loose zone theme adherence in these, but I'm presumably this circle is the zone. I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to be doing, so let me pull up the jams page. Also, interestingly, yeah. Let's see, Pixie M. Left click, interact, move. Right click, use items. Scroll, cycle through items. I got COVID and didn't finish it, lol. Not much to do at the moment. Okay. Well, in that case, we can just kind of like admire this art for a bit.
Yeah, the sprite is nice.
Yeah. Yeah, the animation for the sprites here are really appealing.
My one probably unfair gripe right now looking at this is that the numbers and text don't share the same pixel density as everything else.
Yeah. Also, the berries...
Which makes it more readable, but,
slabs of meat. Can we leave the zone? Oh, we can. We can leave the zone.
Wander out into the infinite fields.
Oh,
there's some
we
stuff.
got some. It looks like an Eevee. So let's see if we can find the cycles. Never mind. Anyway, you didn't hear me say that.
Can you give the little creature the meat?
Oh, that's a good question.
It just appears
No.
in front of you.
Well, this is cute. Sorry to hear that the developer got COVID. I've had COVID. It sucked ass. So, yeah, my sympathies.
It is not fun to recover from.
That was nice. All right. Next game is Live Free and Die by Team Bad Governance. Let's see here. I am intrigued by the premise of this. I was looking at the jam page briefly. It's a
libertarian virtual pet game.
Libertarian virtual pet game. Now, we shouldn't laugh. I think this is going to set the gold standard in libertarian virtual pet games.
Hey, I see what you did there.
Well, although it wouldn't be the first Dang It Ron Paul that we've played in this jam, but let's see. Govern a libertarian who hates everything you try to do to help him.
Oof.
Anyway. Sorry.
Seal trademark. New Hampshireites are really looking forward to this.
As I live in Austin, for those who don't know, and less so now, but in years past we used to have a lot of Ron Paul billboards. It's very
Now they're just NFT billboards.
ugh.
Yeah.
Greets you right when you pass the airport.
I've actually seen there's like a billboard
That's
advertising.
really
Billboards.
oh, cool. I did want to.
Also, I like this MS-DOS font.
I mean, honestly,
It is strictly speaking an extremely default font, but it's still like it. Enough time has passed that it's.
Oh my gosh! So I had a boss at one point who was a prepper, like very convinced he was self-sufficient. So I have a feeling I'm going to enjoy this. Sovereign citizens who think that if they say the magic words, laws don't apply to them. Taxes low, life 50%, wages low, cost of living medium. Okay. How do I?
They do make very entertaining YouTube videos, though.
I wouldn't dare. I would hate to see what my recommended videos would look like after that.
Well, more the like videos of them getting like dragged into court for something and
oh Lord,
them just going on and on about how the law doesn't apply to them.
oh man, have you been following the lawsuit with what's Vic Mignogna? That's been amusing because his
oh no, I didn't know
lawyer
about that.
is one of those like thinks that the law doesn't apply to them if they say the magic words, and it's not been going very well.
Those guys maybe mean Ty Beard. Or I think it's the Nick
You're very
Keaton.
quiet, Mihai.
Oh, can you hear me now? Is that any better?
Yeah, that's better.
Huh, weird. Not
Yeah,
sure
yeah,
what I
there's
got
a
quiet.
Ty
Wasn't sure
Beard
if you meant,
guy.
Yeah. No,
Which yeah.
no comment. Bless his heart.
There's sewage everywhere. My toilet doesn't work. So I don't know if there's anything I can actually do to control it. So I might just be chilling here waiting for these dialogues.
Can you click on the where it says like taxes low, all that stuff? Like, are you able to
Yeah,
select?
I'm clicking it, but it's
just
not
tab.
doing anything. Yeah.
Can you pan the camera maybe? Or?
No, I don't think I can do anything. That's unfortunate because if I'm just like sitting around waiting for events, I feel like the lulls are not enough to sustain that. Oh wait, I think this just popped up. Healthcare, regulate, subsidize, defund. Right. Budget deficit.
So it looks like you're manipulating things to control their mood.
I hit one. I didn't get to choose anything for the others. I think the concept's kind of funny, but the execution is a bit janky.
Raise taxes.
Yeah, there you go. Take that. If it weren't for the government monopoly on violence, I'd show you a thing or two. My boss at that company would every day interrupt my own work done the work that I was assigned by him just to talk about all the guns he was buying. It was very strange. But, that's Texas for you. But yeah, a lot of time spent simultaneously complaining about the police with regards to them not wanting him to have unregistered guns, and then also loving the police and stuff. It was very strange. I don't know. It's not a very consistent worldview. But,
Just loving the idea of police, but not loving the things the police were doing.
He likes the police unless they try to police him. Then he doesn't like them anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Leave it up to corrupt oligarchs to crank up my living expenses. That's right, buddy. What is this house over here? Grover House.
I was gonna say my thought was a prep bunker just looking at it.
That's a free market for you, buddy. This is not a free market. We live under corporate tyranny backed by government fiat.
Oh, he almost went in there.
He needs more bitching about the gold standard, though. Well, he said fiat, but he didn't mention fiat currency.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's what would someone mean if they were saying backed by government fiat in that particular context?
So probably he's into crypto.
Because
that would be my thought. Or
so what happens if you say we'll institute?
Oh, I guess I'll have to wait till it comes up again.
And what is life 61%? It's higher than it was.
Huh.
possibly the age?
Yeah, percent of lifespan.
Oh, implying they're 62. That would be about the right age, given a lot of the weirdos I've encountered. Because I know that there are younger ones, but the most hardcore, shit-headed sovereign citizen types I've run into are boomers. What happens if I try to deregulate the military? What does it mean to deregulate the military?
Maybe just make it more privatized or something.
Of course, you know, the Bill of Rights is talking about well-regulated militia, so I don't know what a deregulated military has to do with that.
Well, I think that's kind of getting into the comedy of just the philosophy going, what is your basis for what you're suggesting?
Well, it's basically they like everything that is good for them and don't like anything that's not good for them and don't expect any consistency beyond that.
Exactly, so just
what
going
happens
off
if
the whole rule of law thing.
Lord of mercy. Well, this is amusing, but I feel like there's not enough for me to do to kind of justify my continued attention. Because once you get past because I'm more laughing at reminiscing weirdos I've met in Austin, which is a weird place, I must say, than this game. And there's only so far you can go on that kind of humor. So I'd like to see a bit more gameplay here. Because really there's not much I can do except wait for these, and it's not clear when I pick one or the other what that does. So I think I'm gonna close this for now. But I did enjoy.
This guy is the only citizen.
Yeah. Well, the that's what makes him sovereign.
Okay.
But I did enjoy the lulls and reminiscing and goodness gracious. So yeah, we used to have a lot of
title right there. The
Ron Paul billboards, and we also used to have a lot of Alex Jones billboards. That's Austin for you. I haven't been looking at billboards lately, so I don't know what we have now, but I think we don't have those anymore.
We did have one of those for a while. They might still be there even, but there was around the election there was a sign that was like leaving the country, and it had both a picture of Hillary and a picture of Trump.
You know what baffled me
Like,
though?
are you leaving the country for either reason? Like, just hedging their bets.
Oh fuck, I forgot the name of it. It's
Call
that
us for
head
legal
shop
advice.
franchise that has places all around town.
But
But
which place again?
it's a head shop. They sell like accessories
Oh,
for
Planet K.
Yeah, that one. Where like they used to keep a bunch of like Ron Paul posters and Bernie posters, and I'm like, you guys like those? Do you? No, I'm just not gonna say anything.
They're just covering all their potential.
I mean, they know both of their markets.
But it's like they're not compatible, buddy. It's not okay. Whatever floats your boat.
I mean, that's the funny thing is going just, hey, we don't care. We'll just sell you whatever you want.
I think they're true believers. At Planet K. That's a great place to go if
In
you want to buy
both
some chargers. You
simultaneously.
didn't hear that from me. Anyway. You didn't hear that from me. The next game on the agenda is Homegrown Pet by Trees Ghost. Tries Ghost? Clay Ghost? I don't know. Oh, I already had that. I was trying to extract it, but I already had it. Cool. Good job, me, preparing ahead of time. Uh-oh. Unable to find VL Gothic font. It crashed.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Maybe a required font that's expected to be in your C
Well-
Windows fonts folder.
Let me see. There's actually a folder in the directory. If y'all can see what I'm dealing with here. Maybe.
Oh yeah, I see. Maybe you can. I mean,
Maybe if I
you could
installer
install
would
them.
work?
I think if you can just right-click install them.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say. I decided I'm gonna play all the tabletop games on a separate stream because those require like a different kind of concentration focus. So we're gonna return to Sparky on a different stream, and I'll announce when that is at some point when I'm not so brain scrambled by all this. So maybe if I install this, I can play the game. So my voice goes higher as I speculate.
You should be. I think you can right-click install those,
Oh right.
like from the Explorer menu.
Look, I'm a programmer. How can you expect me to know how to computer? Not allowed. Whoa. Huh. Anywho. Let me bring my display capture out if it's something reasonable. Let's give that another try. Game.exe. Homegrown pet. Yay! We did it. It works. Okay.
Nice.
Groovy. Let us capture that. And let me bring that up for the judges. Homegrown pet. Because I wonder if I can no, I can't expand the window. Because of certain unfortunate accident strike through, your pet turned back into the shape of a red fleshy blob. You need to feed him so he could go back to his original size. You have 60 seconds to do so. Tiny text I can't read.
Don't ask. You need him back to his size now.
I see. He will shape himself depending on what you are feeding him. They say you are what you eat. Press enter to continue.
So is this a...
Press button on keyboard according to arrow to feed. Content warning. Mm-hmm.
Huh. Well, that escalated quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Content warning immediately.
Interestingly, this application is not showing up in the volume mixer. Maybe it doesn't have any sound?
I'm not hearing anything on the stream,
Yeah.
so...
I'm not hearing anything on my PC. Oh, now I am.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, now it's in the volume mixer. That's interesting. Anyway.
So it's a rapid-fire clicker.
So I'm wondering if, like, you are trying to get a certain outcome by feeding it certain things, so maybe trying to stick with the same type of food? There's a head.
Oh. It likes disembodied human parts.
It's too bad it doesn't show you... I guess it briefly shows you what you're picking, because I'm seeing what I do if I just pick the heads and the candies.
And the bacon. Heads, candy, and bacon.
You know, Hi.
It turns into...
Anime monster.
Is this a dating sim?
So for all y'all who play the mobile games, yes, this is the boyfriend that I am of your main
Right.
character.
Right. Time's up. Press enter to continue. The music.
Huh.
I think they need crowd. Let's see if they
Blends
for him
in
to
with the
hide
crow.
from the authority. Though his shape is not perfect, he has tendencies to react strongly when corpse nearby. Someone will notice eventually. He starts speaking to me like as if he is a human instead of gurgling noise and refer to himself as Hector. So in all this, like where did the severed head comes from? Where did the severed head I cannot speak. Where did the severed heads come from and why did they all look alike? He grew an affection towards sweets. He said something about like to eat sweets with his human mouth. It calms him or sort like that, because when he eats sweet, he tend to eat it very slowly as to savor the sweet sugar in his tongue. It helps his tendencies to stop bursting open his mouth on his chest when eating meat. You think you need to stock up extra sweets until you can find a proper solution for this. Ending E, hungry humanoid. Total score, food point, 243.
His name is not Hector, his name is Butts.
Yeah, yeah.
What was established here.
But Sector.
Vector. What's the vector, Victor? Anyway.
What happens if you feed him nothing but like vegetables this time?
Yeah. I see. Meats are best for him. Certain meats might weaken his feral instinct. Interesting. Let's give him some more meat than last time.
The high protein diet.
It's interesting. I wonder if the heads count as meat, because they were not mentioned in the opening. I suppose I guess I ought to try and see what happens if I do all
Okay.
vegetables.
So less
There seem to
anime
be fewer
boyfriend,
heads
more
showing
Eldritch
up
horror
this
this time.
Oh my.
He's got a lot more eyeballs this time.
Yeah, this is
So isekai anime boyfriend.
How many of these have killed me already? How many of these pets in this gym have... We need to go back and... Time's up. I like how it's time boxed. It's limited, which makes it easier to, like... It makes it more palatable to, like, try again. Your pet's grown very quickly. Too quickly, in fact. He outgrown the buildings and the city, and soon the everything is filled with flesh and tendrils. His eyes looked at you. It's harder to read his expression in this form. He is like rooted tree. His teeth tears the corpses with such ease into small bits, where it's taken inside of him, probably dissolved. Despite his shape, he is very quiet, and before you know it, the entire city is quiet too. It's either you didn't get to stop him from devouring the whole city in time, or you just think to let him do what he wants. Perhaps it's more of the latter, since he asked you if you are okay with the whole city gone. You shrugged, and you pet him. Since he also devoured the authorities in here, no one will come to report you unless, of course, someone from outside city sees this giant eldritch amalgamation. You wondered how big he can grow if you feed him certain meat. I see. Did he devour the world too? For now, you went to a nearby empty dessert shop and help yourself. You and your pet could use a good tiramisu. Ending P. Good big dog.
I was right, isekai anime boyfriend. Or
You mean giant fleshy Sasuke?
Mm-hmm. You mean butts? Excuse you.
Yeah, oh yeah, sorry, giant fleshy
Okay.
Sasuke.
I'll say, I wonder what happens if I just focus on feeding them, like, mostly vegetables. This is fun. Like, the fact that I'm curious to see what happens is a sign that something's going right here.
Got pretty good art.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this. Oops. And I like the cuteness of the horror thing.
Because now I am curious if any of them actually go towards more of an animalistic thing rather than the humanoid characters.
Yeah. So let's see what happens if I don't put any, or try not to put too many humanoid things into it.
It's almost like a WarioWare minigame.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Just lollipops, carrots, and lettuce. He never grew at all, actually. He stayed that size.
You tried feeding your pet. Now he is a size of a dog. Big enough to eat the corpses, but small enough to escape the authority. See, yeah, that's efficiency right there. Although it took him quite a while to finish his food, you think you'll keep him for a while with this size because he is cute. You wondered if you feed him with certain meat, maybe he'll take shape according to what you feed. Ending B, dog. I wonder if there's a way to look at the endings I've had so far. I would like to be able to see that. Because it would let me know what else I'm trying to get. Let's see. What should we go for this time? Uh-oh. We've already started. I want to give it one more go, but what should we go for on this last run? Should we try to make it evil, or maybe try to go for? I wonder if we could get full boyfriend mode.
Maybe you could do all vegetables and heads. Whenever they come up.
Wonder if we can get like a little wafy boy.
Either I was thinking all candy, what that might result in.
Well, the first time around I was going for mainly candy and heads. I think.
This time vegetable and heads, no candy.
Well, I think we need candy or it'll hate me. I guess we could see what happens though.
He'll turn into a tsundere.
Yeah. Or yandere. Kill me. Oh, I do also want to try pure candies. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. Mostly vegetables and heads. Maybe some candies because it'll be unavoidable. Although I think it's implying that you're not actually giving it literally that same head every time. You're just feeding it general, vague human flesh, which raises some questions as well. I'm guessing that the player character is actually going out and
freezer is?
Murdering people in order to raise this creature.
Yeah, the descriptions seem pretty excited about the fact that this creature destroys the authorities.
Yeah. What I'm enjoying about this is that what narrative is there is pretty minimal, so it's not obtrusive, but it implies a whole lot going off screen that's very interesting. So it's very fun how evocative it is in that regard. Also interesting that we only start to see.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe when it's small, you don't get that many of the heads.
Yeah,
so it's the one creating the corpses.
Let's see. What other combo to try? Have we tried? Let's see. We tried lots of meat. We got the big, massive thing.
Yeah, maybe we do more meat, some meat at least to get it to grow up, and that seems to be how you get the option to get more to give it human meat.
Dieting Hippo says try not feeding. Well, that's not fun. I don't want to just sit here for a minute not doing anything. Although I guess we could just blather over it, but.
Or just indiscriminately mash the keys as fast as you can and just.
That'd be Let's see what we get if we just feed it a shitload of stuff, or just keep mashing one or two. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just indiscriminately. I have no idea what I'm feeding it. It's just mashing.
Because I'm noticing it also indicates what it likes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, it likes the candy. It's its heart. It always does a heart when I give it candy.
Ah, okay.
Because candy makes it love you. So presumably, if you never feed it candy, it's not going to like you very much. Oh, we haven't had it turns into a feral creature ending yet.
Oh, he's turning into the tree.
So can we go farther than Eldritch Horror Tree? With anime boyfriend inside.
Yeah, I guess we're finding out what we get if we basically give it the average of whatever we get, because I'm just hitting up at this point. Okay. So I suppose this is the ending where you just like give it the average of. Oh wait, this is slightly different though.
Yeah, it is slightly different.
Oh boy. You have made your mission easier. He is so easily able to locate your target, and by minutes his tendrils return at you with your target's head with it. It alerts the authorities, of course. He tried to negotiate with the authorities, of course, but they wouldn't listen to him. It ended with a massacre
No,
as
I
he devoured
need
them.
to kill this guy.
To his defense, he was doing self-defense since they were trying to kill him. It looks like you need to take his core in form of small piece of fleshy blob and start again from beginning before they track you down. Before you do, he asked you if he could get a tiramisu when you raise him again. You say yes, of course. Besides, you could use a tiramisu too right now. Ending N. I see.
Sweet Tooth Eldritch Abomination.
Interesting.
Oh, we got a pretty high score that time.
Yeah. This is fascinating.
I'm identifying with Monster Boyfriend who is really into tiramisu like that. Okay. This is I can connect with this.
I'm really enjoying this. I want to play more and find all the endings, but let's get through all of this. The last game of the block is Bon Cat Care by Costava. It's clearly French for good cat care. I know you couldn't have guessed that, but you know, just the big brains in the organization here. That's what we have. Also, let me
Unless
bring this
it's
up.
Bonn Cat Care, in which case it's the cat care in Bonn, Germany.
But has it got that umlaut, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you just add on the umlauts and it just makes it more and more everything. You just have an umlaut over every character. Including
Where's
an umlaut over the
Hempuli
end, so it's extra metal.
Where's Hempuli to interpret the umlauts when we need him?
Yeah, it looks like it actually is Germany.
Oh. Bon Cat Care. One of them picnic blankets.
Whoa. It's just suddenly
Always
cats.
be dying. Tune the balls. Take drugs to fall asleep. Who really owns this? What the fuck is happening here?
Random buff men.
I just imagine this being like there's like TV infomercials going on in the background.
God will kill us
They're
all.
speeding up as you give them stuff.
Always
Icelandic
be
Ultra
killing.
Blue.
What the fuck is happening? Am I a vampire? Because that's a mirror in the back. Why are there pictures of shirtless men? Put the heroin on their backs. I am not a raccoon. Always be criticizing others. I season my water. What
Are
the
you able to click the cats?
Well, I'm picking up these objects and clicking. Okay.
I was gonna say, I'm guessing we might want to turn the sound down.
Yeah.
There's a timer
I
now on there.
cannot find the sound for this in the mixer, in the Windows volume mixer, which is a little, disconcerting. All right, what are we gonna get?
Well, we're prepped for the jump scare.
Yep. I am a little alarmed by the fact that I cannot find this in the mixer. All right, let's get it over with. Yes. Okay, come on.
Final score 11.
Yeah, let's get the jump
Get
scare
on
done
with it.
with. Come on now. Yes, thank you. Come on. Oh, okay. Okay. That was...
Did it close itself?
No, I closed it. Because
Oh,
it went back to the front. It went back to the title menu.
to the title screen.
Yeah.
Maybe it was. I was gonna say maybe it'll do something different the next time you run
I think I'm satisfied.
it.
So it is 7:25, and the next block is scheduled for 7:30. But let's plan to reconvene at 7:35 for the final block of the live stream. So I will see y'all then.
Cool. Sounds good.